You are listening to Amarillo's news leader, News Talk 710 KGNC. A historical drought continues across the southern Great Plains. Much of the region has not seen any significant rainfall in months, and this has led to severe crop failures resulting in food shortages across the country. The combination of strong winds and loose topsoil has led to numerous dust storms over the last few months. The Amarillo area has experienced dangerous driving conditions due to these storms, and yet no sign of relief is expected over the next few months. Looking at the weather for the area, lots of anomalies in temperatures, but it's certainly going to be sunny for a long time until we get some rain. A dry cold front is expected to sweep into the region today, bringing temperature changes and gusty winds to the area. The National Weather Service has stated that this front brings an enhanced risk for strong dust storms to affect much of the southern Great Plains. Please continue to monitor the forecasts today and be prepared in case another dust storm impacts the area. This is News Talk 710, KGNC.
The current time is 8:34 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Red flag warning in effect until 7 p.m. this evening for wind and low relative humidity for all of north central Kansas and south central Nebraska. The National Weather Service in Hastings has issued a red flag warning for wind and low relative humidity, which is in effect until 7 p.m. this evening. The fire weather watch is no longer in effect. Affected area, all of north central Kansas and south central Nebraska. Winds, north 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts to around 45 miles per hour. Relative humidity, 15 to 20%. Impacts, any fires that occur will spread rapidly, exhibit extreme fire behavior, and will be difficult to contain. Use caution when engaging in activities that could result in a fire. A red flag warning means that critical fire weather conditions are either occurring now or will shortly. A combination of strong winds, low relative humidity, and warm temperatures can contribute to extreme fire behavior. Blowing dust advisory in effect until 3 p.m. Dust storm warning in effect until 4 p.m. this afternoon. The National Weather Service in Hastings has issued a dust storm warning, which is in effect until 4 p.m. this afternoon. The blowing dust advisory is no longer in effect. Winds, north 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts up to 45 miles per hour. Timing, through much of this morning. Locations, most of north central Kansas and south central Nebraska. Impacts, blowing dust with visibility below 1/4 mile will be possible across the entire region. This will create hazardous travel conditions, which will include Interstate 80 between York and Lexington. A dust storm warning means severely limited visibilities are expected with blowing dust. Travel could become extremely dangerous. Persons with respiratory problems should make preparations to stay indoors until the storm passes. Dust storm warning in effect until 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time or 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time this evening. The National Weather Service in Goodland has issued a dust storm warning, which is in effect until 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time or 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Peak winds, 45 miles per hour. Timing/duration, through early evening. Other impacts, visibility to near zero. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment recommends that you take preventative measures during this blowing dust event, such as staying indoors or wearing protective breathing masks if outside. High dust concentrations can cause respiratory problems, decrease lung activity, aggravate asthma, and lead to potential heart-related problems, especially with children, elderly, or those with pre-existing respiratory conditions. A dust storm warning means visibility will be reduced below 1/4 mile in blowing dust. Travelers are urged to use extreme caution and be alert to rapidly changing visibility, especially near open fields. Persons with respiratory problems should stay indoors until the storm passes. Red flag warning remains in effect until 8 p.m. this evening for wind and low relative humidity for all of southwestern Kansas. Affected area, all counties in southwestern Kansas. Winds, west 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts to 50 miles per hour. Relative humidity as low as 10%. Impacts, any fires that start will have extreme fire behavior and spread rapidly. Outdoor burning is not advised. A red flag warning means that critical fire weather conditions are either occurring now or will shortly. A combination of strong winds, low relative humidity, and warm temperatures can contribute to extreme. Dust storm warning in effect until 10 p.m. this evening. The National Weather Service in Dodge City has issued a dust storm warning, which is in effect until 10 p.m. this evening. Affected area, all of southwestern Kansas, including the Dodge City metro area. Timing, low 10 p.m. Winds, northeast winds with gusts to 50 miles per hour. Visibility, under 1/4 mile and blowing dust at times. Impacts, hazard to motorists, especially those on the interstate or other primary roads. Be ready for a sudden drop in visibility to near zero. If you encounter blowing dust or blowing sand on the roadway or see it approaching, pull off the road as far as possible and put your vehicle in park. Turn off the lights all the way off and keep your foot off the brake pedal. Remember, pull aside, stay alive.
This is WIBW Topeka. We interrupt this program to activate the Kansas Emergency Alert System at the request of the Kansas State Emergency Operations Center at 3:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time.
We interrupt this program to activate the Kansas Emergency Alert System at the request of the Kansas State Emergency Operations Center at 3:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. A large and dangerous dust storm is overspreading across the entire state of Kansas at this time. Strong winds and near zero visibility have been reported with this storm in the Dodge City and Goodland areas. This dust storm is expected to arrive in central and eastern Kansas in the next hour. All residents in the state of Kansas are asked to seek shelter as soon as possible. Seal off any openings to the outdoors. If you are outdoors or in a vehicle, get off the highway and seek shelter. If this is not possible, pull off to the side of the road and put the vehicle in park. Do not venture outdoors in a dust storm. Stay put and remain calm until the dust storm passes. All broadcast and cable systems affected by this alert are asked to relay the preceding message.
You are listening to Amarillo's news leader, News Talk 710 KGNC. A major dust storm causing major travel disruptions across the central Great Plains. Dust storm warnings have been issued as a severe dust storm has formed in south-central Nebraska and is traveling south as it spreads into much of Kansas. As of 4 p.m., gusty winds and near-zero visibility have been observed as far east as Topeka, Kansas. Severely reduced visibilities have also been reported just east of Pueblo, Colorado. Dodge City reported a wind gust of 47 miles per hour with thick dust around 3:30 p.m. The governor of the state of Kansas has declared a state of emergency as near-zero visibilities are occurring across most of the state. The National Weather Service in Amarillo is closely monitoring the dust storm as it approaches our local area. Please stay tuned for further information. This is News Talk 710, KGNC.
Red flag warning in effect until 10 p.m. this evening for strong winds and low relative humidity for all of the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles. The National Weather Service in Amarillo has issued a red flag warning for strong winds and low relative humidity, which is in effect until 8 p.m. this evening. The fire weather watch is no longer in effect. Affected area, all of the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles. 20-foot winds, northeast 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts to near 60 miles per hour. Relative humidity falling into the 7 to 12% range. Timing until 10 p.m. this evening. A red flag warning means that critical fire weather conditions are either occurring now or will shortly. A combination of strong winds, low relative humidity, and warm temperatures will create favorable weather for rapid fire growth and spread. Avoid activities that promote open flames and sparks. High wind watch remains in effect until 11 p.m. this evening. Event: northeast winds 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts approaching 60 miles per hour. Timing: winds will increase by late this afternoon and continue through the evening hours. Impacts: strong gusty winds will make travel difficult, especially if you are driving a high-profile vehicle. Motorists should use extreme caution. People at home should secure loose outdoor items such as garbage cans and lawn furniture. Stay alert for the possibility of falling tree limbs and down power lines. A high wind watch means there is the potential for a hazardous high wind event. Sustained wind of at least 40 miles per hour or gusts of 58 miles per hour or stronger may occur. Continue to monitor the latest forecasts. Blowing dust advisory remains in dust storm warning in effect until midnight tonight. High wind warning in effect until 11 p.m. this evening. The National Weather Service in Amarillo has issued a dust storm warning, which is in effect until midnight tonight. A high wind warning has also been issued. This high wind warning is in effect until 11 p.m. this evening. The blowing dust advisory and high wind watch are no longer in effect. Event: northeast winds of 30 to 40 miles per hour with gusts to 60 miles per hour across the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles. These strong winds will also result in areas of blowing dust causing reduced visibilities of 1/4 of a mile or less. Timing: strong winds will continue until 11 p.m. Blowing dust will continue until midnight. Impacts: these winds will cause areas of blowing dust and could toss around items such as lawn furniture and trash cans. Motorists traveling on east and west-oriented roads will also experience very strong crosswinds. A dust storm warning means severely limited visibilities are expected with blowing dust. Travel could become extremely dangerous. Persons with respiratory problems should make preparations to stay indoors until the storm passes. A high wind warning means a hazardous high wind event is expected or occurring. Sustained wind speeds of at least 40 miles per hour or gusts of 58 miles per hour or more can lead to property damage. Dust storm warning in effect until 1 a.m. Saturday. The National Weather Service in Norman has issued a dust storm warning, which is in effect until 1 a.m. Saturday. Impacts: blowing dust will restrict visibility to below a quarter of a mile, posing a significant hazard to motorists. Timing: the dust storm warning is through 1 a.m. Saturday. Winds: gusts mainly between 40 and 50 miles per hour. Visibility: dropping to a quarter mile or less. A dust storm warning means severely limited visibilities are expected with blowing dust. Blowing dust can quickly reduce visibility, causing accidents that may involve chain collisions and multiple pileups. If dense dust is observed blowing across or approaching a roadway, pull your vehicle off the pavement as far as possible to stop. Turn off the lights, set the emergency brake, and take your foot off of the brake pedal to ensure brake lights are not illuminated. Persons with respiratory problems should stay indoors until the storm passes. Stay tuned to NOAA weather radio, commercial radio, or television stations, or your cable television provider for later statements concerning this dust storm.
This is KGYN 1210. We have just received a special announcement from the Oklahoma Department of Emergency Management. Please stand by as we alert other local stations for a civil emergency message.
The following is an activation of the Oklahoma Emergency Alert System at the request of the Oklahoma Department of Emergency Management. A severe dust storm is causing widespread disruptions across the northern half of the state. Severely reduced visibilities are being reported across the Panhandle and north-central Oklahoma. This storm will impact most of central Oklahoma in the next 30 minutes. It is recommended that residents should shelter in place immediately, make sure all doors and windows are locked, and turn off all heating and ventilation systems. If you are outdoors or in a vehicle, evacuate and seek the nearest shelter. If you're in a vehicle but cannot seek a shelter, pull off of the road and put your vehicle in park with all lights off. Remain in shelter until the dust storm passes. All broadcast and cable systems in the following areas: Guyman, Enid, Woodward, Stillwater, Bartlesville, Elk City, Oklahoma City, and Tulsa, are requested to relay the preceding message.
News Talk 710, KGNC. We interrupt this program because of a local emergency. Important information will follow.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the Amarillo Office of Emergency Management. Shelter-in-place warning for the Texas Panhandle. All residents along the Texas Panhandle are asked to shelter in place due to a dangerous dust storm occurring across the region. To shelter in place, lock all doors and windows and turn off all heating and ventilation systems. Please do not go outdoors and remain in your shelter until the storm has passed. If you are in a vehicle, pull off the road as far away as possible. Put your vehicle in park and keep your foot off the brake pedal. Stay tuned to media outlets for further information.
This concludes EAS programming. All broadcast stations and cable systems may now resume normal operations. You are listening to KGNC. A shelter-in-place warning is in effect for the region. A severe dust storm is causing severely reduced visibilities and dangerous driving conditions. All residents should seek shelter in a building with all openings to the outdoors sealed. If you are in a vehicle, pull off the road and make sure all of your lights are off. Do not venture outdoors. You may get lost or suffer health complications from dust inhalation. If you must go outdoors, wear a protective mask over your nose and mouth and wear eye protection that can block out dust particles. Near-zero visibilities are expected to continue until late this evening. We will provide more information as it becomes available. This is News Talk 710. KGNC is a vital emergency station for the Amarillo area. Please stay tuned.
We interrupt this program to activate the Kansas Emergency Alert System at the request of the Kansas State Emergency Operations Center at 10 p.m. Central Daylight Time. The dust storm that was affecting much of the state has moved out of the area. While conditions are improving, all residents in the state of Kansas are asked to remain in shelters until roads are cleared. Many areas across the state are reporting several inches of dust covering roadways. Road crews will work to remove dust from major freeways and other roadways tonight. This concludes the statewide activation of the emergency alert system. All broadcast and cable systems affected by this alert are asked to relay the following message. The following is an activation of the Oklahoma Emergency Alert System at the request of the Oklahoma Department of Emergency Management. The dust storm that was affecting much of the state has weakened and moved out of the area. Road crews will begin clearing dust from roadways tonight and all roads should be safe to travel tomorrow. All residents affected by the dust storm are asked to limit all unnecessary travel until tomorrow morning. The danger to residents from the dust storm has concluded. Continue to monitor local media outlets for the latest information for your local area. This concludes the activation of the Oklahoma Emergency Alert System.
following message is transmitted at the request of the Amarillo Office of Emergency Management. The dust storm has ended across the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles. However, roads remain covered with several inches of dust and many secondary roads are impassable due to significant dust accumulations. All residents should remain in shelter until roads are cleared. Dust storm warning is canceled. High wind warning is canceled. The National Weather Service in Amarillo has canceled the dust storm warning. The high wind warning has been canceled. Sustained northeasterly winds have subsided below 40 miles per hour and the threat of damaging wind gusts has ended. Also, visibilities due to blowing dust have improved. Thus, the high wind and dust storm warnings have been canceled. Dust storm warning in effect until 5 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. The National Weather Service in Albuquerque has issued a dust storm warning, which is in effect until 5 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time Saturday morning. Locations: Chaves, Eddy, Lee, and Roosevelt counties. Winds: northeast 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts up to 45 miles per hour. Timing: the strongest winds are expected overnight Saturday. Winds should diminish by around sunrise. Visibility: reduced below half mile at times and blowing dust with briefly near zero visibility possible in dust-prone locations such as recently plowed fields. Local impacts: blowing dust will make driving dangerous tonight. A dust storm warning means severely limited visibilities are expected with blowing dust. Travel could become extremely dangerous. Persons with respiratory problems should make preparations to stay indoors until the storm passes. Dust storm warning in effect until 8 a.m. Central Daylight Time or 7 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. The National Weather Service in Midland, Odessa has issued a dust storm warning, which is in effect until 8 a.m. Central Daylight Time or 7 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Winds: easterly winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts to 45 miles per hour will be likely early this morning across much of the area, with higher gusts across the Guadalupe Mountains. Impacts: blowing dust could result in widespread restrictions of visibility near 1/4 of a mile, with localized restrictions to near zero. A dust storm warning means severely limited visibilities are expected with blowing dust. Travel could become extremely dangerous. Persons with respiratory problems should make preparations to stay indoors until the storm passes.